Hey everyone, welcome back to Rally Caps. It's a podcast for artists, entrepreneurs, and everybody in between. I'm Steven.
I'm Eric.
And I'm Gene.
And today we are celebrating our 50th episode of Rally Caps. Applause button. Yeah!
You didn't do crickets, did you?
No.
Okay, good.
I hope not. And it goes for a while too. That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, unbelievably, we've made it to 50 episodes, which is incredible. So we wanted to do something special for this episode. We're going to break it down into three distinct parts. Number one, we're going to do a little shout out of people who have left reviews over the years, celebrate the fans a little bit, talk about the numbers that we've kind of accumulated on Rally Caps so far as downloads and streams and everything. And we've got, you probably noticed in the intro, a fun little addition to the show. We're going to talk about who created that for us as well. Second, Gene is going to interview Eric and I for a little bit and just talk with us about what the past 2 years of Rally Caps have looked like. And lastly, we're going to close out with three of our favorite pieces of wisdom that previous guests in the last 3 years have left for us. 2 years. I said 3 years.
It's okay.
So that's about it.
Yeah.
Out of 2 years, 50 days of recording 50 episodes is that's like 1/7 of a year.
Yeah. Oh, this is the by the numbers part.
So like
Yeah.
1/14 of the days that we've spent doing the podcast have been days where we've recorded an episode.
Yeah.
Once every 2 weeks on average then.
Once every other week for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, it's good.
It's actually pretty good.
Good job.
Yeah. Hey. Nice.
Look at us.
Hey, look at us. Who'd have thought? We basically took all of 2022 off.
Yeah,
We
and,
published 4 episodes in 2022.
In
So.
the 50th episode, we're going to eat spicy wings and answer questions.
And dried squid.
Yeah. Wait, for the 50th? For this one?
Well, it was because the reference you made to hot ones.
I was like, I didn't bring the hot
Yeah,
wings.
I didn't say that fast enough.
Hot tofu, hot chicken.
Hot tofu.
Hot
Hot broccoli for Steven.
This broccoli is so spicy. I bet Schwa could find me some hot broccoli. Okay, so first off, I do want to start by shouting out the editor of the new animated logo that we have for Rally Caps. You saw it in the intro of the video. If you're listening right now, go check it out on socials and on the YouTube edit of this. But his name is, and I haven't said it out loud before, so I don't know if I'm saying it right. Forgive me. But Mapal, M-A-P-A-L. His handle is at Mapal on Twitter and on YouTube. He is an incredibly kind and talented person who just, on Twitter, posted this animated logo of Rally Caps one day and tagged Eric and I in it. And now we're using it for the show, which is extremely cool. So generous of him to do that.
Thank you.
We're super grateful for that. And it feels like a really special way to kind of commemorate the 50th and all the episodes going forward. So thank you, Mapal. Again, correct me if I'm saying that wrong, but thank you so much for doing that. Sincerely, it really means the world to us because it just looks so cool. If any of us knew how to animate anything, that's how we would have wanted it to look.
Perfect.
It's literally perfect. So thank you so much. Continuing on, by the numbers so far in the last 2 years, currently sitting at just over 50,000 downloads of the show. Huge. That's amazing. 50,735 downloads.
1,000 per episode on average.
Yeah, just about. Mm-hmm. Thanks to all of you for doing that. And on top of that, because downloads are only for, Apple Podcasts and all the other like Google Podcasts and aggregators for the show. Streaming is different, so that's on Spotify. The streams on Spotify alone, 22,936 streams.
Yeah.
Sick.
We're getting close to like 75,000 total listens, streams, downloads, which is incredible. And again, all thanks to all of you at home who over the last 2 years have been listening so consistently and downloading the shows and sharing with friends. Thank you so much for making that happen because that's incredible and kind of insane that we've built that because of you so far. So thank you so much for listening consistently over the last 2 years.
And there's views on YouTube as well.
And there's views on YouTube.
Because I know some people only listen on YouTube as well.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think actually, here, just Phil real quick. Let me see if I can
Lifetime?
find it. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. If you guys,
I tried to log in. I don't have the login anymore.
Steven kicked you out.
I haven't looked at the Rally Caps YouTube studio in a year and a half, maybe. Sorry.
Oh, I haven't either. Once the episode goes live, I do not pay attention to it at all. Okay, lifetime on the channel though, we're at 46,103 views.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Nice.
I hadn't even thought to look at that, to be
Across
honest.
everything is like 100,000 listen, views, stream.
Yeah, about 125 even.
That's cool.
120, yeah. So that's amazing. Again, literally all thanks to all of you who have watched and listened and shared. It truly means the world to us. So thank you to all of you, and to people that have specifically left reviews, because your names are on those reviews on Apple Podcasts. I did just want to go through to like 2 years ago and just quickly go through a bunch of names that are on there right now. I'm not going to read through the reviews themselves, but I just want to shout out some of the people that have left their names on there. So Isaac, M. Archibald, Blake Polino, B. Cerny, Gaines, Minton, shout out, love you, brother. Caitlin, my sister, love you too. Ben Ramondetta, one of my roommates in college, one of my best friends, I love you as well. A.R. Cortez, Carl Heyerdahl, what's up, bud? Dingayan. I can't read all of these, to be honest. Coffefe Cup, that's hilarious. Michael, that's someone's handle on here. Michael Hancock, we love you, man. Tim Sauer, Benny Richards, Jennifer Rapoulis? I'm not sure. Spencer David Joseph, Cassie, Caleb, Aussie, Jake, Nathan, Zach Elkins, WW Wubsy, that's an amazing name. Billy Bob Racer, Humble Woodworking, Life with Dominic, Colton Carr, who we've met, S. Crane, and plenty more. We're so appreciative of the reviews that you have left for the show. We read through every single one of them, and they make our day anytime we see a new one come up. So thank you so much.
50th.
50th.
Just
50th.
like Gene's birthday today.
Bad boy.
Well, that's
You
a
are a
great
bad
segue to
boy.
the next part of the episode, because
It's Gene's birthday.
well,
He didn't want us to say that.
he
He's
didn't want us
lying.
to
It's not
say
my
that.
birthday. He's just trolling. He's messing with me. It's not my birthday.
It actually is though.
No, it's
Yeah.
not.
And
Well,
he's
when-
actually 32.
Yeah, 33.
33.
And when you're listening to this, it won't be his birthday anymore.
Not anymore.
And
It's true.
And now, speaking of Gene, he's the one that's going to take us into the next part of this episode and ask Eric and I some questions about the last 2 years of Rally
Hey
Caps.
guys, be honest with me. Are you going to kick me off the podcast?
Little did you know. That's question number one.
Gene
Eric,
might
did
now.
you know?
Did you know?
I'm starting to feel those vibes.
I've been on like 5 episodes.
Gene's going to get the call up from the miners.
Let's
Hey!
go.
I didn't even mean that.
Let's
to
go.
Be in the theme of rally caps. Nice.
I feel the power.
Sorry.
I understand now. I understand when you're in
get
this position, getting to ask the questions. This is special. I am excited to ask some of these questions because some of them are inappropriate. And
Great.
I'm just kidding.
Oh.
They're not.
Hey,
Chad saw them. They're not.
that's
They're
our
not.
brand.
He screened them for me.
Yeah,
We're good.
That's our brand.
Yeah.
Inappropriate and out of control.
Chris Chu knows that our brand is spicy. on
He
Rally
most definitely
Caps.
knows. I have a few questions just to kind of recap the history of the podcast and some of the things that you guys have experienced. So my first question is, what's been the best part about starting this podcast in the 2 years that you guys have been doing this?
I feel like it truly is like one of the biggest reasons you moved to Chicago.
It was
East
it was
Coast?
certainly a big part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like doing it more seriously.
And me,
Sunk
you
my
moved
teeth
here
into
for
you.
Yeah.
Rally
Yeah.
Caps and me.
over here.
Well, it was years of you saying, so you're going to move to Chicago, right? Yeah. that's really what it was.
And now you're extending that and doing that to Chris Chu.
Yeah.
There's a pattern here.
In 5 years, Chris will be here.
Yeah.
It takes that
I'll
long.
give it 2 years.
We'll
2
pull
years,
him
2
up from the minors. And I don't mean that as a short joke.
Oh my gosh.
I'm allowed to make those now. We're close enough. Braxton does it all the time. Who says I can't?
Well, Braxton's also short. No, yeah. What was your question?
You've referred to this podcast as your baby.
Yeah, I love this thing so much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what are some of the best parts about starting this podcast? Since starting this podcast, what is the best things about it?
All the people that we met.
Yeah.
All the relationships we built by a mile, honestly.
I feel like, we never would have had conversations with certain people had we not. And
No.
we're like slated to talk to way more people this year.
Yeah.
That are going to be very, very cool.
Yeah, I mean, it's really incredible, honestly, to think about how some of those relationships have gone from a cold call, a video pitch that we sent someone to get them on the show. And we did it during a time where, you know, we were still kind of coming out of a pandemic, so people had more time or were more willing to do stuff like that and be involved. And I think we were doing it in a really interesting and engaging way early on and now. But to think that, you know, for example, Danny, we sent a video to him 2 years ago, interviewed him 2 years ago. And in that time, we've become very good friends with him, have photographed his wedding, and now we're kind of hosting part of his movie premiere next week in Chicago, which is absolutely wild to think about how those relationships have progressed over the years. And that's really true for a lot of the guests that we've had on. They've gone from a stranger or someone we admired from afar and have become a genuinely close friend. Like, it's incredible.
Yeah. And Beers and Cameras last week felt way more natural given the connections we made with people in the industry and growing our own brands. So pretty cool.
Yeah, it is.
Not to show favoritism, but do you guys, as you guys kind of recall all the guests that you guys have had on and all the episodes you've had, are there some guests or episodes that were more memorable in the past 2 years?
I think Danny was a big one. Steve Antonioni.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Who has just been making insane films
incredible stuff
on YouTube as of recent, who we hope to connect with again this year.
Yeah.
Those are two that jump. Jesse Driftwood too is just
Jesse
a
as well.
total gem of a human.
Yeah.
I hate playing the favorite game too, though.
Yeah, not so much as like who your favorite people, but like who were
That is what you
monumental.
asked,
That's
Yeah.
true.
be honest.
It is kind of what I wanted
It's
to ask.
Gene. Gene's my favorite.
Gene's been the favorite. Actually, we haven't. Oh, we still need to do that. You need to be the guest at one point. We've never interviewed just you.
I am the guest right now.
What? Wait.
Birthday boy asking. We asked him to ask us questions on his birthday. Hey,
Yeah, no.
Not fair, but like just like
But I know what you're saying though. Like as far as the impact of maybe that
Monumental or, like,
conversation in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Danny and Steve were definitely two. Danny because we both looked up to him so much at that point in time, and it was so cool to meet him. And he ended up. We talked the longest of any guest episode ever with him. We didn't even share like half of what we published for that episode.
I went fully unhinged.
Yeah, and it was awesome. It was just so fun to go that deep that quickly. And I think Steve's episode was very similar in that he is just such a beautiful soul and wandering philosophical mind, and he's got such a different take on life than we do. And there are so many moments where he would say something, and Eric and I'd be like, "Whoa." That was so deep, man. Like that was really like he's just such a lovely person, and he really makes you think about the things that you do and the way that you treat your life, and he's an incredible person. So I see what you mean though about like the episode being contained as like just a really impactful kind of thing for sure. Yeah.
With now, if we like swing to the other side of the spectrum, what have been some of the maybe not so glamorous or challenging aspects of running a podcast and maintaining the momentum of Rally Caps? Thirsty?
I'll be honest, my phone started ringing. I had to put on Do Not Disturb. Could
I
you
did
repeat the question?
Yeah, after
I got really distracted. I was so nervous that was going to come through.
What are like what are the growing pains? What are the difficult parts of
challenges
of running this podcast, or maybe just a podcast in general?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Consistency is the hardest thing, as is anything with online posting of anything, because it's the necessary evil that you have to deal with all the time, whether you want to deal with it or not.
Especially for podcasting.
Yeah.
Podcasting is the one that demands consistency.
Yeah.
And that is very tricky. And it's why you've seen us go to such great lengths to improve Rally Caps, to build a contained set where everything is ready to go all the time. It's why we've brought Chad onto the team to edit and help take some of the post-production off of my workflow, and just expedite everything that we're doing so that we can maintain those weekly episodes and dream of bigger ideas for episodes, map more in-depth episodes out, get bigger guests on. All of those things are really just ways to kind of tear down barriers that keep us from making the things that we want to do, which I think is a theme of this whole studio, like we've talked about in the past. Yeah.
Also, this is totally random, but like while it's on my mind about, what the investment that we are putting into Rally Caps with it, like we don't have any sponsors right now. So that makes it more difficult to want to find like the the gumption to like sit down and actually do it. But the three of us are actually currently building something that's top secret right now. And we will soon have an email sign up list for that for early access.
Yep.
So we're going to put that in the description.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Teasers.
wherever you're listening or watching, first link in the description,
Yep.
you can sign up for that email list for that new thing.
Yep.
Which is going to be really cool.
That will hopefully be
Very
a way
cool.
that we almost like self-sponsor
Yes.
Rally Caps.
Yeah,
as
that'd be
well.
amazing.
Yeah.
No, I think it'll be the thing that helps us use Rally Caps as a vehicle for that thing. It's hard to talk about it. So
It's very ambiguous right now.
Can we say
but
what genre it is?
No.
No.
Why?
Well, because nothing is
No. Yeah.
ready
No.
yet.
No. No. Eric. No. Eric. No.
It's
no.
called-
no.
No.
No. Chad, this is where you put the sensor sound in.
I just start going off. You blur my whole face.
Everything.
He's gonna
And then
blur
you'll
my
be
face.
safe.
He's gonna blur my whole face the rest of the episode.
Don't look at his mouth. But yes, that is coming soon.
Yeah, and I think, as you're alluding to, more will be shared, but because a lot of details are still being ironed out, in good time, we will share all the good things.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's true.
teasers.
Yeah.
Cool. As you guys think about, the format has changed now. So you guys used to do a lot of interviewing guests in all of your episodes, and as you've moved to now really being more self-contained and not having to depend or rely on having guests all the time. When you think about having guests in the future, are there any guests that you guys would love to have on the podcast? It could be like anyone, any genre,
Yeah.
any like an aspirational guest that you would love to have.
Aspirational guests. Oh, that's
Oh,
interesting.
there's plenty.
There are plenty. Some of those aspirational guests that we put on a list of names
Yeah.
over 2 years ago when we were planning all of this are actually starting to come to fruition now, which is pretty incredible. Some have already happened. Some will happen in
Yeah.
2023, which is really amazing. I think the general shift that we've made towards, like you said, being more self-contained has been helpful on the consistency
Yeah.
front that we were just talking about, and making the guest episodes almost something to look forward to a little bit more rather than every single week being a new incredible guest, because that's unsustainable on so many levels unless it's your full-time job and your show is raking in money.
Yeah.
So many other people's schedules are super busy and don't coincide with your, release schedule for your show and things like that. It can be really hard, but I think the shift that we made has been very helpful for our own sake so far. And now having a cool space too to host in-person guests for episodes is so much more compelling than any
Yeah.
other way that we've done it in the past, which is very cool. I'm debating whether or not to drop some of the loose confirmations that we've got from
Oh,
people.
don't do that. But maybe some other
some other people. Yeah. So
Yeah.
If it was like AAA tier,
Just like some people that you would love.
it's like Chris Hemsworth.
yeah. Wait, what kind of tier are we talking?
Oh,
Rock.
Christopher Nolan.
Christopher Nolan, Christopher
Evans.
Evans,
Damien Chazelle.
Christopher Chazelle,
LeBron James. while we're
Christopher
at it.
James.
Christopher James.
Oh my goodness.
Everyone's Christopher now. No, I think I still want Colin and Samir on.
Yeah,
Yes.
that'd be great.
I think that would be
Yes.
such a fun dynamic
Yeah.
to have two pairs of hosts
Yeah.
of their own shows.
Yeah.
Have a just long conversation, like
Yeah.
one episode for them, one episode for us, kind of thing. I think would be fascinating because they have just skyrocketed their production value in the
we-
last year and a half.
If we had the opportunity to have Cody and Noel, would you?
Yes,
Cody Co.
that would be. Yes, just because I would want to laugh for an hour and a half
Yeah.
straight. Our vibes are very different as far
Yeah.
as material on the show, but it would be so much fun to hang out with them. Absolutely. They're hysterical. They're
Casey would be
incredible.
awesome.
Casey would be amazing. I'd honestly love to talk to Marquez, MKBHD,
Yeah.
as
Ooh,
well. He's just awesome. Fun fact, when Moment sent me the anamorphic adapter to play with for a YouTube video back in November of 2022, one of my contacts at Moment was like, hey, could you actually just ship it to the next person that we want to get it to? I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely. He sends me the shipping label. It's MKBHD. I'm like, excuse me? Are you telling me that I'm shipping this to Marquez right now? He's like, yes, I thought you would get a kick out of that. I'm like, yes.
You put
That's
you put
hilarious.
your little note in it too.
I
when you
do.
said
I
that.
so
Perfect.
badly. I wanted to. I really wanted
Shoot your
to.
shot.
I really want. I was like, this would be
Flick
so
your
weird.
frisbee, if you will.
That's good.
That is good.
That, one.
That is good.
That's a good one.
I'm
That is
feeling
good.
sharp today.
That's a good one, man.
yeah.
That's
No
really
low
good.
energy this
You
week.
are feeling
No, baby,
spicy.
dude. We're feeling
Like a
in
good
the zone.
I
mild
want more
spicy.
spice in this podcast.
50
I'm going to bring the
episodes.
spice. Like Niles says on Sunny 16, I'm going to be the bad guy.
Oh
No,
no.
but there's only
Yeah,
two of you
bad
guys.
boy.
yeah,
There's
there's only two of us.
I'm the
There's
bad.
four of
I'm
them.
the bad dad.
Is that
Chad's
your-
like, ah.
So are you
Wait.
are you changing your YouTube moniker to Bad Dad now instead of YouTube Dad?
Yeah. I'm the bad dad. Bad dad.
It's just getting worse. Okay.
Gene, you're in control here. Get
I
us the
want-
next question.
Hey,
Next
no.
question.
I want
no, next
Billie
question.
Eilish
Next
on this podcast.
question. Okay.
Musicians would be
In
really
the
cool.
same vein of what I
Musicians
just
would be
asked, what's next for Rally Caps? So like when you guys project the rest of this year, and even like next 5 years of this podcast, what are some of the things that you guys hope to accomplish with the podcast?
I want to double all of the analytics we just talked about at
Yeah.
the beginning of the show.
I think we can
Yeah.
easily do that. I want to shoot even higher than that because our consistency this year is going to be through the roof
Yeah.
with the set now.
Yep.
And even on a personal note, and I know you guys as well, like I am the least overwhelmed I've ever been, like in business, maybe right now. There are so many things going on,
Yeah.
but like the dust feels like it's settled a lot.
That's cool for you.
Sorry if you don't feel that
I
way.
feel the opposite.
I
I'm
feel completely
I feel
opposite
a
to that,
storm
but yeah, that's
brewing
cool.
over the work coming.
I'm excited about everything.
Me too.
But it's a lot right now for sure. But that's great.
Well, my kitchen renovation at home is done.
Amazing.
Most of this studio is done.
Yeah.
like
We're getting there.
there's a lot less that needs to be done.
The biggest things have happened.
Yeah, which is
Like the set.
fantastic.
Yeah.
The set. We just need to paint a few more things and
Yeah.
hang some stuff
It's
up.
amazing.
And we're pretty much there.
Mm-hmm.
Already utilizing it has been great.
Yeah.
We've talked about this in past episodes on a personal level. Having an editor has just been an absolute game changer for this, era of my work career. I'm sure as we get more commercial inquiries, things will get crazy again. But for the time being, we've been stacking episodes, being able to get in here on a weekly to semi-weekly. What's the opposite?
Bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. What kind of bi-weekly? 2 times a week.
It's so funny that
The fortnight.
That's incredible that just happened because I was
Jesse Driftwood.
yes
Yeah. He's
I
like,
rewatched
which one of 2 weeks?
He's one of the spoiler alert. He's one of the guest wisdoms that we'll be sharing in just a little bit. And I rewatched that bit literally this morning, where he does that. He's like, "Is it the other biannual or bi-monthly or which one is it again?"
Yeah, so I think volume plus new guests, heavy hitting guests, people that kind of roll through Chicago or have a reason to come to Chicago, and we can just be like, hey, bop on over to the studio, because I think, especially with Beers and cameras 2 weeks ago, they were like pretty stoked about what we've built here. Like giving them a tour of the space. We can't shy away from the fact that this looks and feels pretty impressive. So that is going to be a proverbial light that the moths are drawn to.
I mean, we've said it before. That was a cool phrase you just said. We've said it before on the show. Like, this doesn't really exist in this form for our genre on YouTube. For it to look like this, to sound like this, to be as consistent as it is, it's kind of checking all the boxes to a certain capacity. So I think really focusing in on that, maintaining that throughout the rest of 2023 and beyond, and just continuing to expand the show. Another thing Eric and I have talked about a lot is being more conscious about talking about rally caps in our own channels and social media lives as well, because we don't talk about it a ton.
Just funnel more people. Into
Yeah, exactly. Like making more videos about podcasting or just about what we're trying to accomplish here, and aiming higher with the guests that we're trying to get. More video pitches again, because we haven't done any of those in a while.
Yeah.
And really focusing on in-person episodes, because I want to just keep accumulating stuff like on the wall here and the Polaroid wall that we're making just over there behind that light, and doing things that make this space a place that people that we don't even know see, and they were like, I have to be there.
I want to check it out.
Yep, I want to be a part of that.
But we're excited to talk about all the things that we love in our careers as well. Film photography, commercial photography, we're about to finish up our galleries for our commercial licensing deal with stills.
Yep.
And we're going to be, editing the whole documentary this year.
Yep.
We have our last trip in a couple weeks. So that's going to wrap up the entire thing. And we'll be in the editing cave, sharing that whole thing. And then once distribution comes along, all as well as like the new partnerships we have on YouTube and like just new and exciting things that'll be happening all year long, I think will be really special in a self-contained sense that isn't guest facing as well. So I think people, I assume people will be pretty interested in those things.
Yeah. There's some very exciting stuff happening currently and on the horizon.
Some pretty crazy stuff.
I've been saying this since the beginning, and I think you guys are beginning to see some of the fruits of the hard labor, but I think Rally Caps will be humongous someday. I have no doubt that. I've told Steven this in passing so many times, like I think this podcast will be huge. Not that it already isn't, but I think that it's going to do some incredible things. So that's
Thank
really
you,
exciting to
Gene.
hear what you guys are kind of anticipating for the future. I just have a few more questions. We'll kind of work through them quickly. So when is Rally Cap merch coming out?
Oh,
Before the end of this year.
yeah.
Like what kind of merch?
Caps.
Hats
Duh.
for sure.
yeah.
Caps. Duh. Maybe a t-shirt.
Shirt.
Ooh, yeah,
Shirts.
t-shirt, please.
And I would love to, there's no promises here, but the company that made our banner, they're called Oxford Pennant. They're based in Buffalo, New York. They do like wholesale type stuff. And depending on what we could scrape together, we could place a fairly large order of those. They're an amazing company. It's, very classic pennants. That's where actually the Chicago and Adirondacks pennant are from too. It's all Oxford Pennant. They make amazing stuff. So doing banners or even a pennant version of the Rally Caps camp flag would be very cool. Some kind of, home decor.
But also, if you're listening to this on YouTube, leave a comment down below about what kind of merch you would like, or tweet it and tag us, or DM us on Instagram.
And stickers, because stickers are easy and they're fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think all that stuff,
Put
a
it
lot
on
of
your
people would
Pelican.
really like a lot to put on their stuff.
MacBook.
Yeah. The amount of DMs that I get about when Rally Caps
Dude, the
merch will
hat-
come out
dude,
is
the hat would be
staggering.
so awesome.
It's a lot. People are very excited about it, it seems.
We should do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've gotten samples already.
Yeah.
So
Teasers? Just teasers left and right. What's your favorite thing about one another as hosts of this podcast?
whoa.
But the next question will be, what's your least favorite thing? So
Oh,
don't
great.
be too
Okay.
sentimental.
Awesome. Okay. Awesome.
I'm just kidding.
I thought you were
Just your
serious.
favorite-
I was
what's your
like
favorite
gearing
thing
up
about-
for the emotional
what's
torment of that?
No, I'm sorry. I won't mess with you guys too much.
Do
But what is
therapy on the couch.
this like therapy now all of a sudden? No, but what has been like your favorite thing? You guys have known each other for a few years now, and you guys work a lot together, all of us, outside of the context of this podcast. But within the context of the podcast,
Yeah.
what has been a favorite thing that you've learned about one another or that you've really enjoyed in the process of growing this thing?
Steven shows up. Shows up. And I think dedication to,
Yeah.
if it were left to me, I would have just allowed this thing to be what most other creative podcasts are, where it's like, oh, we'll get to it when we get to it. So, yeah, the charge to go on.
Yeah.
Because I'm always the voice where it's like, we could slow down, and you don't feel that way all the time. I think it's been beneficial for us to do that at different times, but it's pretty clear right now that we're like ready to go full steam ahead. And we wouldn't be in this place had you not had the mentality the whole time.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
And also, ironically, I was going to say what the inverse of that, where you say, it's okay, we can slow down and it's fine.
Yeah.
And it is okay.
Yeah.
I think that was especially helpful last year when there was the whole production of the doc going on.
Yeah.
And it just truly was not feasible for us to do anything consistently, especially because we didn't have the studio yet. And it was kind of a heartbreaker at first, but then the more we got into the doc, the more I was like, it's okay right now. It's not like it's going anywhere.
Yeah.
We're clearly committed to it, but there is something that takes a higher priority
Yeah.
right now. So let's do that thing. Let's get through that and then work through solutions to make this a more sustainable thing. But because I'm so in love with podcasting and with the show, it's hard for me to slow down with stuff. And it's been very helpful for you to kind of gently just be like, hey, we're good right now. It's okay. And then also be just as receptive to when we want to step on the gas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nice. That was therapeutic.
Sick.
Oh, yeah.
Yin and
No,
yang.
that's I think that's a good place. I have other questions, but I think that's a good place to wrap up. Question time with Gene.
You're going to
Yeah.
cap up the questions. Sick.
Cap it here.
Cap it here. Did you get it?
Yeah, rally cap it. I get it. Yeah. Good one.
You did get it.
I did get it.
Okay, sweet. Well, Gene, thank you for those questions. Really
course.
appreciate it. That was very fun. I want you to lead questions more.
But can I show the guests? Can I show the listeners later the actual questions I had?
You have other ones? Yeah. Do you have any spicy ones?
Do you want to read through them and then we can choose whether to answer them or not?
Sure. Like, who's your least favorite guest that you've ever had on before? What would you like to say to your haters? What's the worst comment that you've received? What do you see? There are other
Wait,
questions.
you actually did put those?
Yeah, Chad saw the list.
Jeff's just grinning happily.
Have we ever gotten like a hate comment?
For rally caps?
I don't think so.
I don't think so, no.
You, why? Yeah,
It's pretty hard to hate Steven.
Yeah, I was gonna say if someone did,
Dang, you beat me to it.
I mean, we're not spicy.
No, that's we're very
If I keep going down this bad
we
dad
might
road,
start getting
yes,
the bad
most
dad might
definitely.
get some flack, but
yes, I want it, man. Bring it on.
he thrives on this.
Yeah, dude. I love controversy.
Oh, I'm sweating even more now just thinking about it. Oh, man. Okay, sweet. So to wrap it up, part 3 of this episode, I took 3 different pieces of wisdom that past guests have shared. I have kind of the truncated version just to paraphrase them, and just wanted to share them with all of you listening and watching right now, and also just to get your guys' thoughts as well. So the first one comes from our buddy Jack Coyne. His episode, we talked a lot about his relationship with Casey, and he really harped on the point of how he got in the ground floor with Casey. And the kind of wisdom that he shared was, in his case, we're going to air quotes here, mop the floors for someone else. Offer to provide a service to someone that you look up to for free so that you can get in on the ground level without asking for anything in return. Really trying to put your best foot forward, not be obtrusive, not ask for anything, not expect anything, but just approaching the people that you admire, offering them something that's of value to them, and then just leaving it at that and seeing what happens from there. I thought that was, that's stuck with me ever since he said that personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's great advice.
One we always go back to is what Rachel said, where, it was, and this was 3 years ago, but it's just as relevant today and will continue to be as relevant as the internet continues to speed roll into oblivion at an alarming rate.
Yes.
We, no creators have been asked to make this much. I'm going to butcher it, but
This
you
much,
always-
this fast, this often.
Yeah. And that's the sentiment I think I kind of cling on to with rally caps is like, as long as we can be healthy with the output, it's not being intrusive in our lives. And I think to go back to what I said earlier about feeling the most free right now that I have felt in years is because we're not doing the doc every month anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I think that's what wrecked me last year. Is like every single month we had a new trip or multiple trips.
It was brutal.
And they were very, very task heavy and marathon training in the middle of that. It was chaos.
Terrible.
Yeah. So
It was exhausting.
So I have really been clinging on to that the past year with knowing that we were doing something long form that could have the legs to be a piece of art that can stand the test of time and not just an internet video that's going to not be watched like really ever again.
Right.
And knowing that that's the case while taking the financial sacrifice to do so. And then that's just kind of bleeding into this year with and that's why I'll always harp on the diversification piece, because at this point I feel pretty comfortable with just like keeping a steady pulse on each thing.
Yeah. I I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this next piece from our buddy Sam Elkins in his episode about 2 years ago as well. He had said that one of the best decisions of his career so far was starting his YouTube channel. He said that everyone should be in front of the camera because it helps you become more confident in yourself. It's not just YouTube contained in its own bubble, but rather an umbrella that opens up so many new avenues for your business. Do you guys agree?
Yeah, yes and no. I think 2 years removed from that feels like a very different beast and machine
Yep.
now, because we are all experiencing the great plateau.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what we should coin it,
Great plateau.
where things just aren't as explosive in our niche anymore. You know,
Yeah.
2 to 5 years ago, it felt like you could post something decently profound and it would just, take
Yep.
off. It would get featured on articles, blah, 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 blah. And the algorithm would take it. And now it's like, you just have so many talented people making super high quality things, because now all these people are kind of starting to get on board with like, I'm not going to post all of the time anymore, and then start making really impactful, beautiful, amazing pieces of art in shorter form, not short form like TikTok, but in the 4 to 10 minute window. I still agree. I think there's tons of value. I don't think it necessarily needs to be YouTube. I think we have the ability now. We have multiple platforms. We have YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all of these vehicles to do video production and share it. And I think there are really creative ways on all of them to get an idea out, to get your brand into the world, to connect with people that could lead to potential work. I think at the end of the day is like, as long as you are putting something out there, then people are going to see that and then think about you when they need help on something or need to refer something to somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree with what Sam said. I think that even if I got like specific about platforms, I still believe that YouTube is the place if you are gonna kind of focus your efforts on making stuff for the internet as a creative person, especially a visually based creative. I think YouTube is still the place to be, because time and time again, even as I see all these other platforms pop up like TikTok or Instagram Reels, whatever I see, everyone inevitably ends up on YouTube, and there's a good reason for that. With what he said though specifically, I think that there's definitely a layer of when you make stuff for the internet or YouTube, I think it's a healthy thing to do, because it builds a lot of empathy for the people that are making things on platforms. Because I think if you don't make stuff on the internet and then you're always so critical about people's work, or, oh my gosh, that person's so awkward on camera, like until you do it yourself too, you really don't know what it's like. And we can all attest to the reality of how difficult it is at first.
Yeah.
I've experienced that myself. And so I think that there's a lot of good benefits. I think obviously with a lot of self-awareness. But I think, I agree with what Sam said. I think it's great advice, and it holds a lot of truth.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think the, what I've said to a lot of friends who have asked like, oh, should I start a YouTube channel? I'm like, at the very least try.
Yeah.
Because even if you only make 10 videos, you learn so much about yourself in the process of making a video. Sitting down, scripting something out, you become a better writer. Filming something, you become a better filmmaker, maybe on a story side or more technical side. Editing, you obviously become a better editor, because maybe it's a skill that you were pretty bad at or you just have never tried before. 10 videos, you'll get better than you were at the start of that.
Yeah.
And to Sam's point as well, talking to a camera is so weird at first.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people, it's like the last thing on earth they'd want to do. And you do become more confident in yourself when you do that. And I think the same can be said about rally caps for me on a personal level. I mean, doing the show and then going from the show to really taking my channel more seriously, it made YouTube videos where I actually talk to the camera rather than just like talk to you or talk to a guest so much easier, because I became a lot more confident in not only talking just in front of people and then posting those conversations on the internet, but also literally just hearing the sound of my own voice, because I always hated that. Listening to yourself back and getting used to that is weirdly like a very valuable skill. as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be curious to follow up with Sam this year because we floated the idea of
Totally.
doing another episode with him in 2023. So getting his take on that, like 2.5 years removed, I think would be really cool.
I think it's really interesting now too because there's a whole lot more stuff coming out now. I think of Daniel and Rachel that talk about like making yourself into a brand, like turning your own personhood into a commercial entity.
Yeah.
Like that's a pretty profound thing to do.
Yeah.
And I think 4 years ago, that was like the expectation for creatives. It was like, if you want to succeed, you must be a brand and your personal identity is your brand and there's no deciphering between the two. And when that happens, it's clearly a very toxic thing to do because you then have no personal life.
Yeah.
If you lean into that too hard, your entire life becomes your work and your art.
Yep.
And then you don't have an identity anymore.
Yep.
And then when the platform you perform for, like a monkey, like revolts against you, you have nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing. And so I think that's my advice now is like, know that that's a reality. And it is also okay to work for someone too.
Totally.
Like it's okay to work for a company or to get a part-time job and pursue your own thing on the side. And like, you don't have to turn yourself into a brand and you don't have to feel that pressure because there are other opportunities to do things.
100%. I agree. Last little piece of wisdom from our buddy Jesse Driftwood. Paraphrasing again, but I just loved this line and I feel like it encapsulates a lot of what we believe on the show and just in our own personal lives. He said something to the effect of, I want you to grow your business in a way so that you still felt like you along the way. I think there's something really deeply profound about that, especially in the context of the clip that he was saying, which we will link below if you want to listen to any of these kind of in the broader context of what our guests were talking about. But I just loved the way that he put that because he is so endearing when he talks, and it kind of broke down this sentiment of, you know, we've talked about it a ton. You see how someone finds success, you see the formula that they use, you think that you have to mirror it. You change your personality to match someone else's. You just find the things and the rhythms that work for someone and then try to adopt it into yourself. And the idea of, you know, growing your business in a way that feels like you, feels integral to the person that you are, is really interesting. That's something we discussed when the classroom launched a year and a half ago. You had feelings of not really feeling like you during certain parts of the drop and everything. Like, there's like sales tactics and things. And, you know, we've modified those along the way. But it's just interesting. And I just love how like simple he put it. Like, do your thing, grow your business in a way that feels true to who you are as a person, as an artist.
That's great advice.
Yeah. Great. That was our 50th, guys.
50.
50.
Good job.
50
Hold on,
episodes
ready?
later.
Oh,
We can't hear.
We can't hear it right now, but I hope
You can hear it.
The foghorn?
what's it called?
Do we have a foghorn?
Meow, meow, meow.
Aaron, can I play it? Can I play it? Here we go.
50.
Play it? Could you hear it?
I heard it through the headphones. Nice.
That's awesome. Sincerely, thank you to all of you who have listened and supported the show for the last 2+ years. We're 50 episodes in, and we will be doubling that in a very short amount of time. Very excited to have you on board. Thanks for being a part of the team. We love you very much, and we will see you next week on Rally Caps.
Scatter batter.
You are a bad dad today.
We have a cold open, right? Is the Instagram live the cold open?
Oh, the Instagram live. I've just been pressing this for the past 10 seconds.
Oh, God. Oh, no.